Commissioner of the newly constructed officers accommodation on the link road connecting Nigerian Army Resource Center at Mandela Barracks with Army Headquarters Command Mess 1 and DIA. This ceremony signifies another important milestone in our drive to enhance the welfare and operational environment of personnel of the Armed Forces of Nigeria. I wish to particularly appreciate our special guest of honor, the Right Honorable Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, for graciously honoring our invitation despite his very, very busy schedule. We really appreciate you, sir. Thank you for taking our time out to be here today. We also want to thank you for how you steer the affairs of the Federal House of Representatives. Your support has continued to make our work a lot easier. We say a very big thank you, sir. I also extend the warm appreciation to the service chiefs, principal staff officers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, for being here today to share in this moment of achievement. Today's commission represents a tangible expression of our collective effort to improve the living and working conditions of our personnel and their families. The link road and newly constructed buildings are designed not just for convenience, but as essential infrastructure that supports efficiency, safety, and comfort. Notably, the Niger Barracks Extension Block, which will accommodate policymakers in the defense headquarters, provides a atmosphere where they can have peace of mind to articulate valuable and forward-thinking policies. These policies will continue to ensure that the Armed Forces of Nigeria remain active, effective, professional, and successful in our operations. It is heartwarming to state that this project is in full alignment with my leadership philosophy, which is to nurture professional armed forces of Nigeria that is people-centric, collaborative, and capable of meeting its constitutional responsibilities in a joint and collaborative environment. In particular, the second pillar of this philosophy emphasizes prioritizing troops' welfare. Consequently, the provision of this quality reflects our deep understanding that operational successes begin with the welfare and morale of our troops. By improving their quality of life, we are investing directly in the strength, efficiency, and the unity of our forces. I most sincerely acknowledge the unflinching support of the National Assembly, whose commitment through timely budgetary approval has made this vision possible. Your understanding of our challenges and proactive engagement have enabled the Defense Headquarters to execute welfare-driven projects such as this. We deeply appreciate this collaboration and your steadfastness in ensuring that the Armed Forces of Nigeria receive the resources needed to maintain readiness and excellence. I must mention here that the recent approval of passing the bill for us to also benefit from the new tax laws, where the Armed Forces will have additional means of funding, will go a very, very long way in ensuring that we position our armed forces to where it's supposed to be. So, sir, we say a very big thank you. This project today is just like this. It's supposed to be the first phase of it. We're hoping eventually we're going to produce more because we believe we have a lot of officers and soldiers, personnel that are not fully accommodated. And we understand that when a personnel is well accommodated, he will be able to give his best. And so we'll continue to take this in strides gradually until we achieve that success. I want to also use this opportunity to thank the service chiefs. Last week we were one of the annexes for the Nigerian Air Force, where the Chief of Air Staff also we commissioned another office block, and he has done a lot around the country. So also the Chief of Army Staff, the Chief of Naval Staff, just to show you our commitment to our troops, that we want to ensure that our troops are fully taken care of. It's a very big thank you. Permit me to also extend profound gratitude to the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, for his unwavering support to the armed forces. His administration's commitment to the welfare, training, and operational needs of our troops has been remarkable. It is this support that continues to boost morale and motivation, leading to the visible reduction of insecurity across the nation. Once again, I warmly welcome our special guest of honor, Right Reverend Tajuddin Abbas Joseph, for his dogged commitment to the welfare of members of the armed forces and all dignitaries who have chosen to associate with us today in solidarity with members of the armed forces. to the Managing Director of Federal Housing Authority. Please, can you kindly stand up? Two of you. Please come closer, probably let them get to see. Both from the Federal Housing Authority and Mortgage. One of the fastest projects I've ever seen. We discussed in the morning, he promised in the afternoon, and by evening, these solar panels were already flying. Thank you very much. We'll continue to partner with you. We really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So together, we'll continue to move forward. And let me also take this advantage to also speak on behalf of members of the armed forces to appreciate all Nigerians. For us, we cannot do much if we don't have the support of Nigerians. I want to continue to appeal to HQ Command Base 1 and the Defense Intelligence Agency. These physical assets are expressions of national commitment to the welfare, morale, and operational effectiveness of the men and women who keep our republic safe. Allow me, first on behalf of the National Assembly, and indeed the Nigerian people, to salute the gallantry, discipline, and sacrifice of our armed forces. Across the theaters of internal security and along our borders, our troops daily demonstrate courage and professionalism. Many of our compatriots in uniform have paid the supreme price. We honor their memory, recognize the burden borne by their families, and are determined that their sacrifice will never be in vain. To the wounded and to those living with visible and invisible scars, Nigeria stands with you. Today's commissioning reflects a clear leadership philosophy at Defense Headquarters. It prioritizes personal welfare as the core of military capability. No fighting force, regardless of equipment or doctrine, can perform its best without decent accommodation, reliable infrastructure, and a humane work-life environment. The projects we are commissioning today are practical investments in morale, unit cohesion, and preparedness. By facilitating movement between key facilities and providing safe, dignified living spaces, we improve efficiency and strengthen the resolve of officers to give their best. This ceremony also takes place within a broader national and security context. In recent years, our country has faced complex threats, terrorism and insurgency, banditry and kidnapping, oil theft and piracy, cyber risks, and transnational organized crimes. These challenges develop swiftly, testing our institutions and stretching our resources. However, Nigeria's story is not just about threats. It is also about resilience, adaptation, and reform. Under the steadfast leadership of the Commander-in-Chief, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, the federal government has continued to focus on modernizing forces, fostering cohesion, enhancing intelligence sharing, and improving conditions of service. The achievements we see today are part of these ongoing efforts. For our part, the 10th House of Representatives has prioritized defense, internal security, and veterans welfare. Working with the Senate, we have supported budget allocation for platforms, munitions, communications, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance capabilities, and force protection, while insisting on value for money and timely delivery. We have approved allocations for barrack rehabilitations, family housing,
medical care, mental health support, and post-service transition. Our oversight has facilitated better interagency collaboration, clarified procurement rules, and enabled us to learn from past actions. We are also advancing legislative proposals aimed at deepening professionalism and accountability in the security sector. These measures, ladies and gentlemen, include strengthening the legal framework for joint operations, enhancing the welfare and pension architecture for serving personnel and veterans, supporting local defense industries under the Made in Nigeria agenda, and enabling more agile logistics and maintenance regimes. In all this, our objective is consistent: to build a military that is adequately supported, well-led, well-equipped, and transparently governed. A military worthy of the great nation it serves. I must at this junction commend the Chief of Defense Staff for his purposeful leadership and for championing welfare as a strategic pillar of combat effectiveness. The projects completed today serve as clear evidence that leadership matters. When welfare is a priority rather than an afterthought, the entire defense system improves. I also recognize the service chiefs and the engineering and logistics teams whose planning and execution brought these works to fruition, as well as our civilian partners and contractors who delivered to specifications. Let me also recognize the families of our personnel. Behind every successful mission stand spouses, children, and parents who shoulder silent burdens with dignity. When we invest in accommodation and community infrastructure, we invest in those families. We affirm that Nigeria appreciates both the work of its uniformed personnel and the patience of their loved ones. As we build these facilities, we need to focus on sustainability. We must take care of the infrastructure, follow standards, and learn from previous projects to improve future ones. The House will support ongoing maintenance and funding throughout the life of the facilities. We also want the services to adopt a culture of preventive maintenance, keep clear records of assets, and use digital tools to track work. Our goal is to create lasting capabilities, not just quick fixes. Looking ahead, Nigeria's security depends on the cooperation of the government and society. Military action must be combined with political negotiations, community involvement, economic support, and justice. We need to share intelligence, use technology responsibly, and ensure our troops have the resources they need. The National Assembly is ready to work with the executive, military, traditional leaders, and international partners to achieve these goals. In closing, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me once again congratulate my dear brother, the Chief of Defense Staff, the service chiefs, defense headquarters, and all who contributed to this laudable achievement. To our officers and soldiers, I wish to assure you of the continued support of the National Assembly. We do not take your sacrifices for granted. We honor your service. We will advocate for your welfare and will stand with you to secure the peace and stability upon which development depends. Thank you, and God bless the armed forces of Nigeria.